Starting off with the Tesla robotaxi. So I love when I hear news that I find to be good met with severe drop in the stock, because to me there's nothing more bullish than that, or there's no more buying the dip than that, right? We have to agree that if you agree that automated driving, autonomous driving is going to be a thing, and that nothing's going to stop Elon or whatever from, or Lex Luthor from putting it out on the streets, well then why wouldn't you buy it, Tesla at 7% down? That's exactly what I'm planning on doing. And so when you see a drop like that, 70% drop in Tesla
Mhm.
on this type of news, is that to you a buying opportunity, or do you go, analysts know more than me, than what I might know, maybe I should stay on the sidelines?
Yeah, that's a tougher one for me. I'm interested. I get very interested when prices drop pretty dramatically, but only if it's a value buy. I'm interested in the difference between price and value, and that's because most of my early background as an investor was really understanding value investing, how to value companies, discounted cash flow, dividend cash flow analysis. Really what I'm looking for is, can this company grow their earnings into the future, and are we currently paying a better price than it's worth? Tesla is one of those overvalued companies still that makes it difficult for me to know whether or not I'm in a good buying territory. But from a technical perspective, it still looks pretty good. I think there's still room for a continued drawdown from here, though. I mean, that last bounce off of 185 was pretty impressive. That was obviously a fantastic buying area, and if you had taken that position at that point, then you went for a 45% run. There are plenty of opportunities like that in Tesla, and it makes it a very attractive, sort of short-term swing trade, just because of how volatile it is. So I'd probably take it for more of a short-term ride.
When are we going to get to the point where there's a meme asset that you just can't resist buying? I'm looking for the thing that's like, okay, you're like, I'm being unreasonable, but I'm going full bore on this.
Uh,
Has that ever happened?
no, I'm like, so maybe I'm just like programmed too hard to like wait for these great value buys. Netflix, when it drew down significantly in 2022, that was a really good one. And that was really kind of on the news of them going to sort of an ad-free model, or excuse me, an ad-based model, and they were going to cut the ability for people to share accounts. I felt like the news was overblown, and there was this really nice big drawdown in their price that led into a good buying opportunity. But again, it's like the main thing I'm looking for is, what are the fundamentals telling me? It's hard for me to get on board with the growth story and the narrative into the future if you're already paying such a hefty price for the company. And maybe part of this is, I learned the lesson the hard way about buying something for more than it's actually worth in 2004 when I bought my first house. And by 2008, not only did I pay a premium for my house in '04, but then the value of it tanked from the '08
I
GFC,
see.
that now I'm realizing I'm upside down in equity now. This makes no sense. I'm now sitting on this, house that I overpaid for. And so I kind of made this promise to myself a long time ago that I wouldn't buy things for more than they're really worth. So that's just me. My personal preference is to wait for big buying opportunities for things that are cheaper than they're actually worth, or at least at what they're worth.
It's hard because it's the I feel like I've grown up in crypto when it comes to the trading, and the model there is buy high, sell higher, right? There's no there's no there's no wait for the big retrace in Bitcoin. That's not the message that's being produced. It's the
See,
have
Tom,
fun, staying
I
poor.
had that experience though. I did the buy Bitcoin at night. I think I bought Bitcoin at 19,500 in 2017, right before it hit the $20,000 mark, and then reversed and made a 70% decline after that point. I didn't hold on to it for very long, but I think the point is, like, I bought tops before and I'm not happy with it.
I see. To me, it's like this. It feels like I don't know. Because I'm such a contrarian, I'm always buying when there's some big drop. Like
Mm.
I'm never like waiting for the confirmation. I'm like, if it's fallen, let me buy. If it's fallen, let me buy more. And so to me, I feel the most excited when it's down. In fact, I feel the most nervous when it's going up, because then I go, well, should I sell? That's the part I cannot stand. But if I buy it while it's falling, I go, well, I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm catching a falling knife, and if it cuts me, like I get it. That's what falling knives do.
Hmm.
It's such a different thing. But I feel like I want to hit on. I'm going to get to the story. I don't know if it's going to be uranium. I don't know if it's going to be oil. I don't know if it's going to be something where we talk about it, and you're like, "Oh my god, I got to buy that right away. I got to be on that train." I don't know if it's going to be NFTs. I don't know what's going to be the thing that.
I'll let you know what it is when it happens. I'll get excited about something. And maybe one thing I'm looking at right now is what I believe is a burgeoning industry of GLP-1 drugs. And so like Eli Lilly is pretty interesting. Like I'm looking at some of the participants in that industry as a potential play because I think that's going to grow dramatically. We have, a pretty big obesity epidemic in the United States. And I think that if it's more accessible to a larger audience, that more and more people will participate. I don't think there's any end in sight in terms of how many end users that end up on a product like that.
So when it comes to Tesla, buying Elon is not a thing that's like a driver for you. It's specifically the value prop of the actual underlying.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Okay.
fundamentals are the bigger play in my mind. If I can make sense about the growth trajectory, then I can get on board. But like many times it's that relationship between narrative and numbers that is really, really important. And sometimes there's just too much narrative and not enough numbers. And sometimes on the flip side, I'll spend too much time in the numbers and not put enough narrative to it. So I've been guilty of both sides of that. But I just think that Tesla is largely kind of a big narrative story. And sometimes the
Mhm.
numbers just don't make sense to me.
And it's not painful to you if you miss a big run, like the
No.
big run. And then I said, okay, all
No,
right,
I mean, I'm happy with my performance. I tend to average 25 to 30% a year. I think I'm doing okay.
all right. You're speaking as someone who has a happy marriage, happy kids, and comfortable with their own lives. That's the problem. Nvidia is still making its trek upwards, so
Mhm.
maybe we'll touch it next week, and we'll see it at some painfully high number that I can never buy.
uh, Sounds good to me. Obviously, I'm still in my position with Nvidia. It's making up a big portion of my portfolio now, so I'm happy.
Oh, that's
20.
right. You're in it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I took a big
Okay.
position on it. I averaged. Well, I did what you normally do. Actually, I started to buy on the way down. To the point, I guess I was a little meme stocky with Nvidia,
Nvidia. Yeah.
and it is most certainly overvalued from a fundamental perspective. But this is the
Don't
one.
jinx it. Don't jinx it.
This is the one growth trend I just couldn't ignore. And there's really only two plays in AI right now. It's Nvidia and Microsoft. What else are you going to buy? I mean, SMCI, sure. I mean, that was a big one. And I don't know if you saw the move on SMCI,
No.
Super Micro. They're a smaller cap company, but they recently did a fairly large order of GPUs that are contributing to the AI space. So it's not really giving NVIDIA for a run for its money, but certainly posting some numbers here that are pretty impressive for its company. And that's another potential smaller play that could have some upside. But yeah, I couldn't ignore the NVIDIA run.